Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thank you for growing with me on today. Your dreams are your destiny. Your dreams are what can help you propel you forward, moving forward in God. Um, Grab the side that's within you. Let go of all that old stuff. Let that stuff go because that's what's gonna take you through an evil breakthrough. Keep on carrying you through. You ain't gonna let go of that stuff. You gonna carry that around with you every day. It's gonna eat away at you. It's gonna gnaw away at you. Take away your joy, take away your peace, your solace. So you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go so you can, it's time for a little TKO. I think you better let it grow. Let it grow, take the lesson and go and move on. I was thinking about, matter of fact, I got this project going, honey. This book is getting ready. We working on this book. And I was talking to the publisher, as we getting ready to get this project going. I'm talking to the people and talked to the lady, and I told her about I had to bring up some old stuff, stuff that I forgot about. It made me think about a story that happened to me, when I got out of the Navy. I had went into I got out the Navy, and that's a story in itself how I got out. But honey, I'm telling you what, it wasn't for me. We didn't mix. I couldn't get their lock inspection right. Nothing against the Navy. God bless you for serving your country. My country, 'tis of thee. Wasn't for me. I had to grow for a better way. You see, I had to go do some other different things. God had me on a journey, so I had to grow. That wasn't for me. And so, but I got out, and we'll go into that one day. But I got out, and because I want to tell you something here. I moved into a hotel. The spiritual warfare just attacked me. I moved into this hotel, after I got out the service, and found a job working at KFC. And I'm working at KFC, and I'm eating the food. I love it. I love that chicken, honey, and coleslaw. But I got tired of mixing that coleslaw. I used to have to mix that coleslaw with my hands back then. That's how you did it. You mixed it with your hands back then, your bare hands. I think we had gloves on, but I got tired of that. Mixing that big old bowl of coleslaw is a lot of work. Elbow deep in coleslaw. No, I got tired of that. So, I went over. I did that for about 2 days, 2 or 3 days. And then I went over to IHOP, worked as a hostess over there, and taking people to their table, and I take to the table, I take them to, no, can we sit over there? See, well, you hostessing yourself. You don't need me here. You just go sit where you want to go sit at. So that didn't last long either, and while I was there, I met a young lady, and she worked there too. She was a waitress, and can't remember her name to this day. I stayed with her for about 2 weeks. And, I was just a naive young girl, just naive, didn't know the world, and didn't understand. But I just stepped off into a spiritual warfare, because what happened there, I was already in the spiritual warfare in the motel I was staying at, just trusting, loving the world, didn't know, naive young girl. Left all my money in the drawer. Came back, this is all the money I had in the world. What the Navy gave me was about $200, $237, I believe. It was all I had to my name. And I left it in the drawer, thinking that's my little house for now, this hotel. I can leave stuff in here. And sure enough, I got wiped out. Wasn't nobody but the maid. I knew it was the maid, but I couldn't prove it. So there went everything I had. So, I told the girl, the waitress at the job, what happened. And she said, you can come stay with me. Come on, stay with me. You can live with me, And so I was, she was very nice, very sweet girl, very sweet young lady, like Indian, and very kind, Hawaiian. And she had a little girl, a little 6-year-old girl. And I grew very fond of the child, very fond of her and her mother. And I was, their roommate, being a roommate, I'm helping her there, but I didn't stay there long, probably maybe about a week or two, and I used to see her walking around, looking out the windows, peeping out. I didn't know what was wrong with her. I'm looking at her, and then when the little girl would ask me to give her something to eat or feed or whatever, her mom was asleep. I didn't think nothing of it. I went in and fed her, you know. But I would watch her sometimes. She walking around looking out the windows, looking crazy. Then she look at me. I didn't know anything about drugs. I ain't know nothing about that. I didn't know what was wrong with her. I didn't know why she walked around like that. Until one day I saw it for myself. And see, I had already made up my mind a long time ago, ain't nothing, gonna run me. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I drank, but I was a functioning alcoholic, honey. I got up and went to work. I had kids to take care of. I take care of my kid. I drive that bus, honey. I'm gonna drive that bus, and I drove that bus for 20-some years. And so, nothing defeated me. Nothing gonna control me and manipulate me and run me. I let it for a little while, but look, hold up. You gotta draw the line. You gotta stop. Somebody gotta have some stopping sense. That's what mama said to me, and that rung true. I took them old sayings to heart, what mama told me. So I see her walking around looking like this, and I ain't know nothing about it. I ain't never seen nobody do no drugs. I ain't never seen how nobody act. So this was new to me. So I'm watching her look out the window, bug eye looking at me. I'm looking at her, the baby looking at me, and I feed the baby, but there she go, walking around. So, look, this went on for about a week or two, and then one day it all came to a big head. Stuff got to come to a head. It got to come to a ball, and it's all going to come out. When it come to a ball, everything come out, the core, everything, it all come out. It's going to run over. I'm telling you, that spiritual warfare out there, you got to watch out. Don't play with that. So, it all came to a head one day. They all sitting in the floor. When I came in, I'm growing for a better way. Didn't know then I was growing, but I was, didn't know. But I walk in and, I'm sitting there. They all come in and here they are, all around me. And they passing this around. Here it come my way. It's head. No, I see it coming. It's heading my way. So they passing my way. And I said, no, we got to keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Here you go. I kept it moving to him over there next to me. No, it ain't going to stop here and keep it going. See, because we can't interrupt the flow of God. See, I can't have that running me, controlling me. I got things to do. I ain't got time to be sitting here peeping out the window to see who out there, honey. I go walk out there. I don't need to know that much. I ain't got to be that paranoid like that off that stuff. So now we're going to keep it moving. I see what it do to you. It ain't going to do that to me. Keep it moving, keep it moving. And she didn't like the fact that I wanted to keep it moving. Y'all keep up with y'all flow. I'm going to keep up with my flow. See, I'm on a different flow over here. There's something else we got going over here. I'm going to stay in my lane. The lane of righteousness. I'm going to stay in my lane. See, I didn't even know that back then, 20, 30 some years ago. I didn't know I was staying in my lane, but I did. Stay in your lane. So I stayed in my lane. And she didn't like that, huh? She wanted to interrupt my flow to get in their flow. Now, I don't need to be in that lane. I'm going to stay over here in this lane. So she said I had to go. If you ain't going to do it, go. Okay. Love you, little girl, but I got to go. See you later. I grabbed my stuff, honey, and I was out the door. It was time to go and grow. So, that's how that happened. I was walking, down the road and didn't know where I was going. It was dark. I'm in Orlando, Florida. Just got out the Navy. Just fresh. Fish out of water. Just out there fresh. Just out there. Fresh fish. Okay. Anyway, so look, I'm out there, honey, and he come in the middle of the night. I didn't know where I was walking to. I'm walking along a set of railroad tracks. He come out of nowhere. Here he is. Hey, where you going? Stop. I kept walking. Where you going? Stop. Wait a minute. And he grabbed me gently, turned me around. Ain't nothing down there. You ain't going nowhere. Where you going? Where you going to walk to? Ain't nothing down there. So he said, here, you can stay in my car and I'll come back and get you in the morning. And he did. I'm telling you something. God just carried me, honey. Just carried me through and kept me. He came and got me in the morning, let me sleep in the car. Dropped me off where I wanted to be at. God carried me on to the next step. It was a new chapter, I'm telling you, honey, God done carried me through and kept me, kept me for the breakthrough. I done went through. My life has been thunderstorms. The storm started out light in the beginning. They started out light, but honey, I'm telling you, some heavy rain, some floods that came in. Some of that rain ain't gonna never come again. See, because I had it all. Oh, no, we already know that. Now we're going this way. We're going to stay in this lane of righteousness, and grow for a better way. See, I can tell you a thing or two. I can tell you what I've been through, what I've seen. I can tell you right now, ain't no future in that. Ain't no future in your fronting. Might as well get real. You know, none of this stuff mean anything. This stuff we down here chasing after, running after, it don't mean nothing, honey. But it's God you need to seek after. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things shall be added unto thee. You know, that's what you got to do. Seek God. Keep on caring for the Lord. Don't worry about this stuff around you, honey. It means nothing. I had it all, and it all means nothing. You know, when you realize you got God, then you know you got. Then you don't even realize that's all you got until you got God left. Everything else is gone. You know, it don't mean nothing no more. It's gone. You know, away from you. You lost control of everything too. Ain't even control of you. Ain't supreme over nothing. You know, I'm telling you, I ain't even supreme over the clothes you got. Somebody could come along and say, give me that. You know, give me that what you got on. You know, give me your clothes. Give me everything you got on. There you go. You know, so you ain't supreme over nothing. You know, oppression is all around you. It affects us all. You ain't got to be doing nothing. You know, just out there doing, you know, going with the flow of God. And here comes somebody along want to interrupt that. Hey, no, You got too much good going on. I'm finna interrupt some of that. I'm finna mess some of that up for you. And then there you go. See, because you think you got a path, a clear path over here. But you see the warning sign. You see something wrong here. This ain't right. This ain't what God got me doing. I got to turn around. You know, I got to do better. I got to grow for a better way. I got to grow for tomorrow today. You know, we do. You know, we got to begin to look for our future. See, I knew back then. Wasn't no future in that. Ain't no future in the fronting. Ain't no future in none of that. So, you know, we need to lift one another. That's what it's about. It's about lifting one another. It's about rising. It's about seeing, you see what's going on, why you want to participate in that, why you want to be a part of the problem, be a part of the solution, you know, and the solution is to grow. The solution is to rise. The solution is to sow, you know, rise up in God, honey. Strive each and every day to reach your greatness, you know, greatness in God. You are greatness, and you are the author of your destiny. And God is the finisher of your faith. If that's what you believe, that's your faith. What you believe, that's your faith. You know, I'm gonna tell you something about faith. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. But faith is the evidence of things not seen. And I can't wait to see it. It's coming. You know, as we grow, we rising, we sowing, we growing, we lifting, we touching. You know, we have to. See, because if we don't, we're going to give in to the evil breakthrough. We're going to be a part of the spiritual warfare. We're going to be a part of the problem out there. It's all around us. You know, as you can see, you ain't even safe in your own house. You know, you got somebody, a rapist, child molester. You know, as soon as I step out the door, you know, just waiting on me out there. Tried many times, many times to peek in the windows, look in here, every chance he got. And, so, honey, I'm tell you, oppression is all around us, you know, but it's how when the ripple comes to us, it's how we react to the ripple. You know, we're going to keep going with the flow of God. We're going to sow love. See, that's what I did. I sowed love. I'm here to tell you something. You know, we don't want to go another step. We're going to cut this off right now. So what I told the police to let them know, leave me alone, you know, because I could have easily pressed charges, but I didn't press charges. I just want to let you know, continue to leave me alone. Don't say nothing to me. Just leave me alone. We can come and go, you know, and come and go in our flow. You go in your flow. I'm going over here in my flow. See, they don't know what I do, though. They don't know that I host a podcast and eventually this going to come out. They don't know that. But, you know, we are out in the spiritual warfare. You know, just like I said, I ain't naming no names. We ain't finna go there. You know, we developing an understanding right now. We gonna have boundaries. We gonna leave each other alone. That's it. You know, just leave me alone. I know how to leave you alone. I've been leaving you alone. I don't even look at you. When I go outside, ain't nothing to look over there. But he had to be standing outside my window. So I couldn't help but look at it. As soon as I go outside, I walk right into him standing there, So how you going to ignore that? I've done enough ignoring. Now it's time to document that. It's time to write that down, what you want to do. So now we going to turn it around. See, it's been peace. Peace be still. It's been God is moving. It's been peace, and it's going to be peace. I speak peace over me and my house. As for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. We're going to keep growing in God each and every day, growing for a better way. We got to, for the breakthrough. Because, we all know how to go there. We all know how to act crazy. We all know how to clown, maybe that's what they were looking for. They look for me to clown and act up like that. But pop goes the weasel and the weasel goes pop. And I went pop. They didn't expect that. They didn't expect that later on. I was going to call the popos on, and have them coming on. Have them coming over, to check some folks. I'm telling you, because you ain't getting over like a dog named Rover. Not over here, honey. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing of nobody around here. I don't want nothing to do with nothing over here, except to live here and grow here temporarily here, just for a minute here. And I appreciate being left alone here. That's it. As I grow on, I sow love, I wave at you, smile at you, God bless you. But it's time to keep it moving. That's why I never did and never really liked to, deal with neighbors, except one special neighbor a long time ago. She was sweet as she can be, different people, different souls. That come into your life to be there to lift thee. You never know. God allows people to cross your paths at different times. There have been people who have actually believed that they were supreme over someone, and someone's life has lifted them. Someone from another color, and turned them from those ways, because there's nobody supreme over nobody. We all the same. Different skin, one love. One God who created us. It's one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. For real. He was trying to give us some wisdom then. That's what those freedom fighters, they've all tried to give us wisdom all along the line, giving us different forms of wisdom, trying to tell us something, telling us love is the key. Love is in the stone, the serpentine fire, the creative energy. Use the good energy, use the godly energy, grow with that. Don't grow with the evil, grow with the godly energy. See, because when you grow with the godly energy, guess what? That godly energy magnifies out there, and there you grow. Just magnify. You just lit up. You lighten up the world. You lighten up all around you. You just sowing love everywhere, all around you, here, there, and everywhere. There go love. Speaking of love, I just want to uplift my sister, Sabrina Clark. I love you. God bless you as you grow. Your business is going up there, your business card. And I'm telling you something, I promote African-owned businesses. I truly do. I promote African-owned businesses, and I promote your business, because I want us to grow in love. Grow together. So, she's a travel agent, and I want to promote her business, put her business card up there, and let you know if you're looking for someone, you're looking for a travel agent, there you go, right there for you. God bless you as you grow. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. We're going to rise all over the world, kings and queens. I love you. Keep on keeping with the dream.